That's right. That's my bunny. Yeah, I guess Thunder wanted to introduce the video today. Whoa. Okay. Alright, in this video, in one of my old, or not old, but in one of my previous videos, sorry to say this, Sebi, but you're not an idiot. When I first started playing paintball, did you think I knew what a poppet or a spool is? No, I barely still know what a poppet or a spool is. I can tell you the difference between them. I can tell you on how they operate. I can tell you on how they shoot, but that's about it. So in this video, I'm actually going to tell you guys on everything I really know about poppets and spools. So I'm going to get started on what type of markers there are. From my knowledge, there is mag fed, which is what Alabaster Slim uses. There's poppets, there's spools, there's pump, and then I think blowback and mag fed are the same thing, but I don't know much about them. I'm more into the poppet and the spool. So generally with poppets, they're more efficient, they're a little bit more kicky, and they're lightweight markers. Such as my G6R. This is a poppet. This is the bolt. Okay, it's easy to take out. And the way this actually works is that right when I open up this back cap here, there's a ram that is actually, well, with this pin, the pin goes down and connects with the ram. And the ram, anytime the air flows through it, it moves forward and pushes onto a poppet. That's how I got the word poppet. And that's how, from the HPR and the low LPR, sorry if I'm off camera here, that's when the pressures actually go into the ram and through the bolt and then blue. That's all I really know about it, okay? I don't know how all the pressures work, I don't know. All I really know is that from the HPR, it reduces to the LPR, which the HPR would be about 150 stock, and then the LPR would be about 70 psi stock. So that's pretty much all you really need to know about a pop. Now with this marker, I will be doing a separate video on what kind of lube you should also be using, but with this marker I use Dow 55 or Dow 33 lube. I'll be doing a maintenance video separate on this marker, but that's all you really need to know about it. Okay, so that's the poppet. Next I'll be talking about a spool. A spool is more of a bulky marker. It's a lot smoother, uses more air, more pressure depending on the markers, more accurate, and a lot more quiet. So now I'm going to bring out my brand new Dye M2. This is actually not a bulky marker at all. This is actually more of a lightweight. It's just under 2 pounds. Anything that is under 2 pounds I consider a lightweight marker. So the Proto Reflex I'm pretty sure is just over 2 pounds. The Etha I know is over 2 pounds. I think the Geo2 is over 2 pounds. So those are more medium range markers. As for this is, I think 1 pound 15 ounces or something like that. This would actually be a lightweight marker. So you saw how that kind of comes out. So there's several, or you saw how the G6R comes out, right? So there's the bolt, there's the ram, which is through the back cap. I actually had to take apart this the Hontar G6R in half in order to actually get to the poppet and service it, but that's only after about 5 to 10 cases. Anyway, so I actually had to take off this Hontar thing just to get to all the components. With this one, the Hontar bolt and ram assembly is all here. There is no ram. So this actually has more of a dump chamber in it, right? So right when I actually take apart, right when I actually take out all this part, there's a dump valve somewhere. I forget where it is. I'm still learning about this marker. I'm pretty sure it's actually here, which is where the dump valve is, or it's all along here. But anyway, the spool, most spools actually have a dump valve chamber. So the Hunter assembly line is pretty much all right here. There is no pin that actually goes down into a RAM, just like an E-Tech, the G6Rs, anything like that. Okay. Now, I'm also okay. So that was a spool. The G6R is a Poppet. There's another marker out there, which is called the Bob Long Victory, which can do both. I do not call that marker a spool. I do not call it a Poppet. I call it a hybrid, right? So this is one of the victories. It's called the Bob Long Reptile Vis. The Vis stands for Victory, or Victory Ignition System, which is what the Vis is, and then the VCOM is Victory Changeover Motor, right? So this is pretty much the exact same thing as the G6R. It does have a low pressure, and it does also have a high pressure, just like the M2 as well. That also has a low and high pressure. So this one, is actually kind of comes out almost as if it's the M2. However, it has different components. I'd like to take this one apart, actually. Yeah, right, there's that. So with the M2, the spool, once again, I'll be doing a whole entire different video on this, but with certain markers, you need certain lubricant. So with my Poppet, the G6R, I use a Dow 55. That's because it was what was recommended to me, but you can also use Dow 33. This engine here is called the VCOM, which is the spool. So now it's more like the M2 more than the G6R. So this will actually shoot smoother, it'll be quieter. Okay, I can barely even take it apart right now, but this little brass part here, that is the dump valve for my VCOM, the VCOM engine, right? So that's how I know, that's how I can tell it's the spool engine. Alright, so put that back in. Actually, no, I'm going to keep that out. Okay. Now, you guys are also must be wondering, well, what about the Poppet? You said it was a hybrid, it can go spool and a Poppet. Well, this is the spool, this is the Poppet, right? So if you actually kind of look, they look very, very similar. If you actually check out my Let's Talk About the Reptile Vis Poppet versus Spool type of video, you'll actually see me take apart both of them and pretty much service them. So you'll also kind of remember, or kind of look at it, you actually see completely different parts in this engine. You don't see that brass dump chamber valve. Instead, you see a donut. This will also be another video on some problems that I find with the Vis and the VCOM. Some common problems that some people actually don't realize, but I'll get to that in a different video. So the only difference that I really need with this is the back cap. I have one, but unfortunately when I got mine, I'm just going to show you guys quickly. Unfortunately with my VCOM, when you actually lift this little pin up, which is what locks it down into place, there's actually a magnet right here that closes it. So even if it's upside down, oh wow, there you go. A little bit of pressure, it goes back up. With this one, right when I got it, the magnet is kind of reversed, so it's actually not going in at all, but you know, I'll fix that later on. So pretending that this actually has the back cap on it, which it doesn't because I'm too lazy. Look at that. Slides right in. Then back cap will just click right in. So, you know. Just let that right. Okay, so I'm actually going to list you off some poppets and spools that... Actually, no, let's talk about this first. Why would you need a poppet? Well, if you're actually playing speedball, which is something I actually don't play. I'm going to be getting into speedball, but when you're actually playing speedball, you want to use a poppet because it's more efficient. So you're more one of those back players just laying down lanes and covering the guys that have spool markers. So while you're trying to cover them and cover them and cover them, you're just laying down paint. You have 11 pods on your back. You're shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting, 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 shooting. Well, that's going to last you all day. Sure. As for the guys that have spools, those guys are the ones that are up front and they're shooting and shooting and shooting, and then they move to another spot and then shooting and shooting and shooting, moving to another spot, shooting, 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 so that they can actually move up and get to the objective, which is in the center, which is, you know, I'm talking PSP, but... So here's some markers that you can actually look up, completely depending on what kind of player you are. When I'm playing rec ball or woods ball, you know, I prefer, kind of depends on what I'm feeling. If I want to, you know, attack and defend, and I'm attacking and I want to get up close and personal, I'll go with the spool because it's more accurate, it's quiet. If I want to be in the back covering the guys that are playing as spools, I want to use a poppet. If, I don't know, I just feel like using something flashy, then I'll just use my hybrid. So that's just the difference between the poppets and the spools on why you would want to use them. For the guys that play MegFed and the pump, that's completely up to you. It's not my personal style, but everyone has their own style. That's why these manufacturers make them. Now the few markers that I would actually recommend looking up, for people that do not know paintball very well, such as Sebastian, some markers that you can look into for low price would be an Etha, which is a spool, the Mini, which is a poppet, the Axe, which is a poppet. I'll also be listing like different types of markers that you can be, such as, I think it's Infamous. They're using the Vanquish, which is a spool, and then they're also using the Axe Pro, which is a poppet. Completely up to you. That's why I have my poppet and I also have my spool. I just have choices. So, in conclusion, if you guys want me to get more into depth into this, I will. Just leave comments below. Requests are always welcome. Thank you guys very much for subscribing. And as well, on top of that, if you guys could actually do me a favor, there's a link in the description below. But if you guys could actually check out my buddy's channel, which actually asked for this video, if you can actually check out StrengthStuff on YouTube, give him a few videos to look, or check out a few of his videos, subscribe to him, like his videos, that'd be great. Thank you very much for watching.